Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? Me? I'm like a kid in a candy store because there's a new social tool that I get to play with. This is going to be our first look at Radio by the People, an audio-only social app called Anchor. Every once in a while, a tool comes along and we get an opportunity to make a video like within days of it being released. And this is the case with Anchor. This is a social broadcasting tool that's audio only. Now, they say radio by the people if you visit the Anchor site. I'm not sure radio is the best way to describe it because radio indicates kind of just broadcast and one-way communication, but Anchor is at its heart a social network. There's no question about that. It's about conversations happening. It's iOS only at this point. I've only been using it for a very short time, so this is a first look, and if I make some mistakes or some assumptions, I have to apologize right up front, but I thought you'd like to see because I think it's pretty darn cool. You sign up for Anchor for free. You register for it, and you go through a little wizard as far as walking your way through it. But it basically, like Blab before it, uses Twitter as a crowdsourcing way of creating an instant audience for you. You sign on with your Twitter account, and it actually integrates Twitter by tweeting out your different posts that you put forward. They don't call them posts. They call them waves, as in the wave is the audio file format, I imagine is the play on words there. But once you've set it up, it allows you to basically record a little 2-minute audio clip, an opinion, an idea, a question, and then it posts it out to the Anchor community. And at that point there, people start to respond. So you end up with an almost disjointed conversation. It's much like posting on Facebook or anything else, but instead of writing, you're speaking, and that adds a new layer. Now you might think, why would you not have video? Video is really the weakest part of a lot of social broadcasting. It's seldom interesting, seldom well lit, quite often shaky, and sometimes just it gets in the way. The audio is the interesting bit, and when we add audio to a conversation instead of just text chat, we get to hear the person's voice, which means we bring another one of our senses into play, and it just creates a more intimate level of engagement. Going into the app itself, we have, instead of a text-based social network, instead we've got a audio-based social network. So as you can imagine, it's all about playback. If you tap on the home button, that appears to bring you to your home page, which allows you to see all of the people who you're following, their posts and the posts that they've made. Now, you do add a little bit of text, and you can add a little bit of comment in it to give people some context before they listen, because it's a little bit more of a commitment than just reading a post, actually tapping and listening to what somebody has to say. I've got to use the mic here because the audio is not carrying through, but...
So I saw Gary Vaynerchuk on Ask Gary V earlier today, talking about the fact that he sees Anchor in some respects as an audio version of Twitter.
So, as is with every social network, the first activity on it is talking about that social network. And here, this person's commenting on Anchor itself. But you can see that we've got the ability to like this post, to reply to it. And if I reply, they will be notified that I've replied to their post. So if we go here down in the very bottom of this screen, we have the home button, a search button, which will allow you to, of course, search for things. The red button in the center allows you to record your own waves. I think most of us are going to spend most of our time in this activity button, which is kind of like a inbox as far as I'm concerned. There, all of your notifications are coming in. And let's spend a few seconds here because you can see that some people are following me and I'm following other people. You add new people to follow, and this point here, I think it's just going to be when somebody follows you, you follow them. I don't know if I'm going to start to meter who I follow because you want people to be able to have conversations with you and be notified. That's the basis of it. I'm not sure this is ever going to be the mass distribution platform that Twitter is because these conversations take up so much more bandwidth as far as our amount of time that we take on them. So you just add people that way. But then here we've got Dina, who replied to one of my waves. So I posted a wave earlier about email overload, which was on top of my mind because we recently posted a video on that. So let's take a listen to what she had to say. So she's commenting on me asking people how overwhelmed their inboxes are, and we've actually commented back and forth a few times.
Hey Steve, awesome tip. Thank you so much. And this was really a great question because I think email clogging up really does make people feel like they're kind of behind on things, and it's just kind of, I know, is a little bit stressful when you open up that email and see a whole bunch just in there and feeling like you need to get to them.
So I was talking about email overload, and I gave her a tip to use a tool to use unroll.me in order to reduce the number of newsletters. So that's how that all came about. So you can see that the conversations are genuine. They're with real people. They're going to be at, I believe, a slower pace as far as number of comments than you would experience in a Twitter or even in Facebook, where you can fire off quick posts and smiley faces and that sort of stuff. Now, before I leave this app, I want to take you back to the home screen here, and here's my profile up, and it tells how many likes I've had and how many plays I've had on my video. It's giving me a little bit of social proof, as it were. Let's show you this. Let me just jump into Twitter, and as I post in Twitter, we see here, listen to my wave, my anchor, and if we click here, we'll hear my comment.
Hey, Malia, I'm so glad to hear that Google Inbox is working for you.
And so now my community in Twitter is being informed of all of my anchor activities, and they can start to listen right here from within Twitter itself. They've got a player that's embedded, and all of the different audio files will play. Oh, here's the original question that I asked. Let's just let you have a quick listen. So this is really the first one that I did.
Today we were talking about email overload, and I'm wondering how many email messages you all have in your inbox.
So that was my question. I know I sound kind of laid back. I don't know why I was talking like that. The last thing I want to show you about Anchor is, let's just jump back in, and in the settings are almost nothing. You can basically re-record your introduction, or you can change your password. The group tool here tells you how many people you're or who you're following and who your followers are. Currently, that seems to be the same list for me, but it's not giving us a count yet. It's not telling us how many, so we don't know where we rank. How can we have a social network where we don't know where we rank? I'm sure they will be adding that in the near future. So this is a first blush at Anchor. I think it's going to be fun. I'm trying to think about how we might be able to use it here on the show, maybe for Ask Dotto Tech as a way to ask questions. It's certainly got a lot of potential, and it's a creative new social broadcast tool. So I hope that I hope you try it out, and follow me on Anchor and comment to me there if you'd like. That's all the time we have for today. So there's 3 ways for you to stay in touch with us here on Dotto Tech, maybe a 4th soon. But the first is, please subscribe to this channel here on YouTube. Secondly is subscribe to our newsletter so you can hear about all of our upcoming live events, tutorials, and other events. And finally, Dotto Tech is a community-funded channel supported by the generosity of you folks at the crowdfunding site Patreon. I encourage you to drop by our Patreon page, have a look, find out what we do with the money that you give us and how it helps us keep this channel on the air, and also discover what perks are available for you. Till next time, I'm Steve Dotto. Have fun storming a castle.